Oh yeah, yeah, it's still just as efficient, but it does suspend the dirt better. It's cleaner. You do have to re-oil them. So when they're dirty, you have to re-oil them. This filter here is ready to be re-oiled, and I'm going to show everyone here how to re-oil these filters too. An easy way to do it so you don't waste the oil. This is what it looks like when it's oiled. Nice bright pink. When they're dirty, they look almost black. When they get that way, it's time to clean them, so they're a lot more efficient.
How often do you have to clean them or oil them?
I always say when they're dirty, clean them.
Just
I
when
mean,
it gets
some
dirty.
manufacturers, you can go 10,000 miles on some vehicles before you have to clean them. A few oil changes. If it looks black, very blackish looking, dirty, it's time to clean it. The nice thing about filters like this, because they're not in an enclosed air box, when you open the hood, they're sealed to keep cool air coming in, so you don't have heat from the engine compartment coming into the intake. As soon as you open it, you can see the filter, so you can tell what kind of condition they're in, whether they're dirty or clean. So you can just physically see when you see it's dirty, just clean it, take it out, clean it. They're usually held on with a band right here, like that. Just unscrew the band, pull the filter out, and clean it. To clean it, you can buy a cleaner kit like these. They consist of a cleaner like this and an oil. What you do is you'll spray this cleaner on the filter. Just spray it all over the filter on both sides. And you're going to let it set for a few minutes, anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. That gives the solution time to get into the filter and do its job to soak up the dirt and all that stuff that's in the filter. Then you just simply rinse it off with a hose, or you can do it in the sink. Just make sure you clean the sink up afterwards so your girlfriend or your wife doesn't get mad at you for leaving the sink dirty. And you just simply rinse it out. When it's finished, the filter is not going to look black anymore. It's going to look pretty much like that. And it's ready to oil. You want to let it dry. Make sure it's good and dry before you oil it. A lot of people ask the question of how they should oil these. And they always tell me that they end up wasting oil, and they'd rather use a spray than a squeeze bottle. The spray cans, the aerosol cans that spray this oil on here, they're pretty wasteful. You go through those aerosol cans pretty quick, and they don't last very long when you oil these. However, if you use a squeeze bottle, they'll last much longer. You can be very liberal with it. You don't have to over-oil them. It's very easy to do. And the way I do it, I'm just going to show you real quick here. I don't know if can you get closer, or should I bring that up to you?
No, I
Can you zoom? I'm going to show you how to do this. It's pretty simple. On the oil, there's a little lip right there. I use that as a guide to go down each pleat when you oil it. Just hold it like this, and just squeeze it gently down the pleat, like that. I'll do the next one. Just a very gentle squeeze down each pleat. And as I do that, I think you can see how that's turning darker compared to the light side right there.
Mm-hmm.
That'll actually soak into each pleat and the gauze in the filter. So it's this part right there. You can actually do this without over-oiling the air filter. I'll just stop right there because I think that's all I really need to do the rest later. So that's what it's going to look like after it's oiled. You can let this set, just let it set for a while, and it'll finish soaking through to the other side. So many people take these bottles and they squeeze it like crazy, and then they have oil just dripping and oozing from the filter. That's not necessary. A little bit of oil on these filters go a long way. And then what happens, they stick them back in the air box and they complain. It's like, oh, I got a mess in my air box. The oil just dripped down all over the place. And they have problems that it could foul the mass airflow sensor in some vehicles. Like in the Chevys, they fouled mass airflow sensors and you have to take them out and clean them. Or the manufacturers that build the trucks, you take them to them, they say, oh, you need a new mass airflow sensor, and they charge you $400 or $500 for a mass airflow sensor you don't need. So if you're careful enough, you don't have to ever over-oil it. Just do it like that, it's really easy, nothing to it. Any other questions on?
You just have to do one side with your oil.
You only have to do one side. Yeah, if you oil it like this, you can't, on these conical filters, you can't get to the inside to oil them anyhow. So if you just go down each pleat, let it set for a little bit, it'll eventually soak through the whole pleat. And then efficiently oil the whole filter. And that's enough. I mean, I could rub my hand across it right there and not get oil all over my fingers. But so many people just waste the oil and overrun. If you do it like that, you'll never oil it.
And that's a lifetime filter?
It's a lifetime filter. Most manufacturers guarantee the filters for life. Most manufacturers have a real good warranty. If you, like Gary, for example, if you have this filter and it collapses on itself because you've left it way too dirty and you have a problem with it, the manufacturer will actually replace the filter. You send it back to them, they'll give you a new filter. Even though that really is abuse because you didn't clean it or properly take care of it. Most manufacturers will replace it. K&N has a lifetime warranty on their filters, they'll do the same thing.
What kind of horsepower gains do you see on average?
I have some figures here on different vehicles. I can give you some examples. On a 6.7 Cummins diesel engine, which is a pretty popular truck, like 2007 to 2009, it's an 18 horsepower gain and 32 foot-pounds of torque. So it's not a real significant gain, but a pretty good gain. And the most important thing is you're getting better airflow from the engine. That's a diesel engine. A Dodge Hemi engine, like this intake right here, this will give the customer a 20 horsepower gain with a 22 foot-pound torque gain. So that's a significant gain on a V8 engine, a gas V8 engine. It's nothing to sneeze at on a V8 engine, pretty good.
Especially for power. The cost per horsepower is pretty good on an air.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like doing like this, a tuner and an exhaust system, you can get a pretty significant gain on a truck like that. It's not unheard of to pick up 40 horsepower with 60 foot-pounds of torque on a Dodge V8 engine. Doing this, a tuner and an exhaust system, and yet get much better airflow, much better efficiency. Pick up 2 or 3 miles a gallon on the vehicle, so help save you at the pump too. But on average, they can be anywhere. Horsepower gains can be anywhere from 11 horsepower all the way up to 40 horsepower. Now that's a bit extreme, but if you do on some vehicles, if you do a ram air intake, explain what ram air is compared to just a regular cold air intake. This is a cold air intake. A ram air intake actually puts the air scoop or air inlet down low on the vehicle with no obstruction, nothing in its way, to where it picks up air at speed. I'm talking like highway speeds, anywhere from 55 miles an hour all the way up to 100 miles an hour. What that does at a speed like that, it forces the air in through the air duct going into the intake at a high rate. So you get 10 times more airflow coming into the intake because of the ram air. It's forcing the air into the intake. The bad thing about ram air is that if you're in dusty, dirty conditions like wheeling out in the desert, or if you're crossing creeks or swampy areas and stuff like that where there's water, it sucks it into the intake. You can ingest water into the engine, too much dirt, clog up the filter, stuff like that. And, more ram air intakes are more for like racing applications on roads and stuff like that. So most of your intakes are going to be cold air applications like these, especially on a four-wheel drive pickup truck that you take out into the dirt or maybe crossing creeks or swamps and stuff like that. You don't want to ingest dirt and water into the engine, so they're going to be more designed like that.
How is the